What it be, what it do, how are you doing today? This is the OffTheDome podcast, season 2, episode 15. Already episode 15. I appreciate everyone who's been listening, paying attention, watching the podcast. I appreciate it. I really do. I really do. And yeah, we got a little bit to talk about today. This is Baller Nation. I don't know why I've got water and Sprite. I don't know why, but today will be a shorter episode. You already know how long this will be because it'll have already been said on the fucking, you know what I mean. But yeah, shorter episode today. Maybe about 25, 30 minutes. Not a lot to talk about. Not a lot of stuff going on in the NBA. I've just got a few things. I got 3 topics. Maybe 4. 3. Yeah, MVP leaders so far. I'll touch on the Dallas Mavericks, that whole situation with the national anthem. First, it said they weren't going to do it. Now they are going to do it. It's kind of weird. And the Lakers, I feel like everyone's telling me I'm a LeBron James hater. Everyone's telling me that. So, at this point, I don't know. I can't say anything bad about him. I can't. Yeah, I call him the second greatest player of all time. I'd say I think he's going to win the championship. He's the best player in the world. I think he's going to win his 5th Finals MVP this year, and once he does that, he'll be the GOAT in my eyes. But I'm still a hater. I don't get it. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about him a little bit and the Lakers, and then the second round of All-Star voting is done, and I'll be reacting to that. Let's start with the MVP leaders, ladies and gentlemen. The MVP leaders so far, for me in my eyes, I've gone with, in order, my top 9 or some shit like that. But yeah, in order, my MVP leaders: Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kawhi Leonard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Paul George, and then either Rudy Gobert or Donovan Mitchell. Probably Donovan Mitchell, but Rudy Gobert definitely deserves a shout. The team record has constantly been, year in, year out, team record has a lot to do with winning the MVP. Very rarely do we see a team or a player not playing on a team that's top 3 in their conference win the MVP. The one that jumps to mind, and the one that's in recent history at least, is when Russell Westbrook won the 2016-17 MVP, averaging a triple-double while leading the NBA in points per game. That's ridiculous. That is stupid. And then he went on to average triple-double for 2 seasons after that. Those 3 years, we're going to look back, and we took those years for granted. We really did take Russell Westbrook for granted especially during the second time he averaged triple-double and the third time he averaged triple-double. We took that for granted, and we're going to be looking back 30, 40, 50 years from now when no one else has done it, and we're going to be like, shit, maybe I shouldn't have hated on Russell Westbrook. Maybe. But yeah, Joel Embiid at number 1, he is running away with this. I think Joel Embiid, he's playing on the best team in the Eastern Conference, and he's putting up monster numbers. He is well and truly running away with this. I don't know where this narrative came from that LeBron James is in any way, shape, or form the MVP. I don't see. I watch every fucking Lakers game because it's on TV in Canada. All I get here are Toronto Raptor games. No, thank you. Lakers games, I'll watch it, but it's boring considering how good of a team they're supposed to be. And then the Warriors play every fucking night that I get that game. That's it. That's all I see on national TV. And then I go pirate Spurs streams on Reddit or some shit like that. But I don't see it. I don't see it. I watch all these Lakers games and I keep an open mind. And LeBron be hitting clutch shots and he's putting up great numbers. But over Joel Embiid? Really? Over Joel Embiid. Let's take a look. Joel Embiid so far this year, 29.1 points per game, 11 boards per game, 2.9 assists per game, 54% from the field. He's putting up 37% or 38% from downtown. For his height, he's shooting 85.5% from the free throw line. For a 7-footer, that is simply spectacular. I've already mentioned his team is they're the best team in the Eastern Conference right now. He's averaging a career high in points per game by quite a wide margin. By almost 2 points a game, and he's only playing 32 minutes a game, which is less than LeBron James, who's putting up worse numbers than that. And again, the team record is I mean, I don't know why. Again, I don't get how is LeBron's season better than this. I don't understand. I don't. I mean, when you talk about most valuable players, Joel Embiid is far and away the best player on his team. LeBron obviously the best player on his team, but I don't understand. Like when you look historically at the most valuable players, the way it's been voted, Joel Embiid meets all the criteria. Now the thing is, I think narrative carries an MVP. The thing with narratives in the MVP award discussion is I think other than probably the Russell Westbrook year, but I think Westbrook deserved that MVP. But I think narrative carries a certain narrative impacts more the where narrative really how am I trying to say this? The narrative in the MVP conversation it impacts more the MVP race than the actual decision. All right, narrative will get somebody who doesn't deserve to be in the MVP race. They'll get them in the MVP race. Remember a few years ago, it was MVP G13 when Paul George was going off. I think in his last year in OKC, and it was just a bunch of people who did not like James Harden decided that all right, Paul George is now an MVP candidate, and he is second behind Giannis Antetokounmpo, which was blasphemous. Paul George literally played good for 2 months, and I get the first half of the year didn't matter. But because he was doing good in the last 2 months, now he's the MVP, or now he's a contender. Last year it was LeBron James. All of a sudden, LeBron James beats the Bucks and beats the Clippers on back-to-back games, and it's he's the MVP now. No, the fuck he's not. There's simply no way. And again, this year LeBron James being dragged into the MVP conversation. I think this year, a lot more than last year, LeBron definitely does have an argument to be the MVP. But if Joel Embiid was playing on the LA Lakers right now, there would be no question who the MVP was amongst media members. But because he doesn't play on the Lakers, he's not as popular. That's the reality of the situation. I got Nikola Jokic in second place. His team's not doing as good as LeBron's or Joel Embiid's or other guys who got behind him. But statistically, Nikola Jokic this year has really impressed me. I think he's impressed pretty much everybody. I mean, I did not expect this at all. 27 points per game, 11.3 rebounds per game, 8.6 assists per game, 85% from the free throw line, 40% from downtown, and 56.7% from the field. The one knock I have on Nikola Jokic is that he can't play defense at all. He is having this is an amazing season by Nikola Jokic. He's damn near averaging a triple-double. He was earlier on in the season, but 24 games in, and he's 1.4 assists away from a triple-double. This guy is going crazy right now. He's Denver's guy. He's Denver's guy. He's averaging a career high in points per game. He's averaged 7 more points per game than he's ever averaged in his entire career. Career high in rebounds per game. Career high in assists per game. Career high in steals per game. This guy he's never been better than this. He has taken a tremendous stride from last year. 7 points per game difference from last year. 2 assists per game difference from last year. And 2 assists and 2 boards a game difference from last year. That's most improved player kind of numbers right there. When you improve like that, statistically, that's ridiculous. Now, I don't think I don't have him in any of my most improved player of the year award things or anything like that. But a career high from downtown, a career high percentage from downtown. I don't know what's not to love. Career high free throw percentage. Every single major thing he's got a career high in. And he's doing all this, night in, night out. The Denver Nuggets, their record isn't that good. And I think the Denver Nuggets really should not have let Jeremy Grant go. Jeremy Grant should not have let him go. Kevin Durant got him a third. The Brooklyn Nets, they play no defense. They need defense similar to the Denver Nuggets. But it's very clear that Kevin Durant not on Brooklyn, that team does not work. Kyrie and James Harden, they've lost a few games now to questionable teams that, it doesn't work. They need Kevin Durant. That team needs Kevin Durant. It's crazy. A team with Kyrie, a team with James Harden, but they've got no depth at all. They've got Joe Harris. He's been hot and cold this year. DeAndre Jordan's been hot and cold this year. But Kevin Durant has been consistently great. He is consistently great. He's got COVID precautions right now, but once he gets back into the thick of things, he's coming off an injury as well. He is a historically great player, putting up 29.5 points per game, 7.4 boards per game, 5.2 assists per game. He's shooting 45% from three, 87% from the free throw line. I thought that'd be higher. 53% from the field. Kevin Durant is just he's having an amazing season. 45% from downtown. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I think if Bradley Beal gets traded, I think Kevin Durant's got a really good chance of leading the NBA in points per game. And if he can do that this year, he might pass Joel Embiid. I think that he might, take the lead in the MVP voting. But I mean, Joel Embiid's gonna have to slow down real soon, and we're starting to see that when Joel Embiid isn't playing injured and when Joel Embiid is fully on, he is a top 10 player in the NBA. He has to be. He has to be. Raptors fans should know this. In the second round back in the Kawhi back when Kawhi was on the Raptors, in that second round series that Kawhi dragged the Raptors to and put up 35 points a game, Joel Embiid really dictated the way that series went. When Joel Embiid was on, and when Joel Embiid wasn't up when he had his mentals right and when he was physically right, the Raptors couldn't stop him. The Raptors could not stop him. They really couldn't. Marc Gasol is known for being able to clamp up Joel Embiid, but when that game that Joel Embiid was shit, I mean that's when he gets into his own head. That's when he's physically not right, and it's hot and cold. That series was a perfect example of it. The series went as Joel Embiid went. It really did. And yeah, so I got Embiid, Jokic, Durant. LeBron James coming currently for me at fourth. His team's second best in the Western Conference right now. The Lakers they're on a roll. They've won I think 6 in a row. Their last 3 wins have not been very convincing. OT wins against the OKC Thunder and a double OT win against the Detroit Pistons. LeBron James being very clutch in all of those games. I think I think LeBron's probably currently the most clutch player in the NBA. At this current time, at least this year, he's been the most clutch player in the NBA. He's been hitting all the clutch shots that the Lakers need him to hit. And yeah, doing all this again. Yeah, I mean, age doesn't play a factor at all in the MVP, in my opinion. If it did, he'd obviously be the MVP. But LeBron's having an amazing season. I got Steph Curry in 5th, Kawhi in 6th, Giannis, Paul George. Curry's doing great. Kawhi Leonard slept on as always in the MVP conversation. Again, we're third of the way through the NBA season. That's the situation right now. That's my MVP kind of ladder right there. Embiid, Jokic, Durant, my top 3. LeBron, Curry, Kawhi, Giannis after that. And quickly on the Utah Jazz, they have the best record in the NBA. They are dominating teams. They dominated the Boston Celtics. It was a close game throughout. They pulled away at the end. But the Utah Jazz is doing all this without a real clear-cut MVP candidate. Donovan Mitchell can take over games. Rudy Gobert is constantly in the mix. Rudy Gobert is constantly, if Rudy Gobert was liked more, everyone would think this guy is an all-star this year. It's really weird. It's unfortunate too. Everyone, if Rudy Gobert wasn't hated, people would immediately vote him into the All-Star game. If people just looked at how Rudy Gobert's value that he brings night in and night out, easily an all-star. There's no debate. No debate at all. And Donovan Mitchell has been terrorizing teams all year long. Let's move on now to the Dallas Mavericks playing the national anthem. Mark Cuban said he was going to stop playing the national anthem before games, and the NBA reached out to him. Adam Silver reached out to him, and they said, well, listen, Mark Cuban is your team, but you're playing in our league. You have to play the national anthem before games. Mavericks will be playing the national anthem before games. I don't like to get political. I think they should. They're playing in America. I mean, wouldn't it be funny if they're versing the Raptors and then they play the Canadian national anthem and not the American national anthem in fucking Dallas? That'd be funny. But yeah, I think I'm surprised the NBA actually made him play the national anthem. I'm very surprised by that. That's weird. But yeah, Mavericks. I mean, not a lot to talk about there. That's just the Dallas Mavericks. I'm surprised it wasn't the Lakers who did that, and it's the Dallas Mavericks, the team playing in a red state, doing that. But you know what? That's it. Second round of the All-Star voting. Let's talk about that real quick. Yeah, I mean, those just came in here about 15 minutes into the episode. All-Star voting this year it's been pretty good, I think. When you look at the top, at least from the starters' point of view, the All-Star voting has been very accurate. it gets, as it always does when fans are voting, it gets less and less accurate as you go down. But I'm gonna just pull up the results so far, and we'll start in the West. LeBron James leading the way in the front court. Nikola Jokic, Kawhi Leonard. Those are the top three, easily. Easy. Those are the top three. Anthony Davis is pretty close to Kawhi Leonard though, and if Anthony Davis, if Anthony Davis actually gets a start over Kawhi Leonard because of the fan voting, which isn't going to happen because the players and the media are going to vote in, and they always, they're way less biased than fans are. But yeah, Kawhi Leonard obviously has been having a better season than Anthony Davis. There's no debate at all there. Paul George in 5th, Zion in 6th. Nice to see Zion get some recognition because he's having a great season, but doesn't seem to be getting a lot of recognition like in the media and stuff like that. Andrew Wiggins, Christian Wood, Brandon Ingram, Carmelo Anthony. I don't know why Rudy Gobert, I know why Rudy Gobert is in there, but Rudy Gobert easily deserves to be in there. I'd put him, I think that he deserves to be 6th in the front court, honestly, behind Paul George. I think he probably deserves to be 5th, and Anthony Davis, he's been having a really bad year. Rudy Gobert has been having a better season than Anthony Davis has been this year. That's just, you might not like me saying that, but it's true. In the guards in the West, Stephen Curry, Luka Doncic leading the way. I agree with that. Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, and then Damian Lillard in 3rd, and then far behind Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, John Morant, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, Klay Thompson, CJ McCollum, Alex Caruso. I love how Klay Thompson, last time he was 10th in the West amongst guards, and now he's moved up to 8th. He hasn't played in 2 years, and my man's racking an All-Star vote. He's just racking in All-Star votes. It's hilarious. Out in the East, and shout out Alex Caruso as well. Out in the East, front court, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid. Easily the top 3 right there, and they've got the most amount of votes to back that up. In 4th is Jason Tatum. Jimmy Butler in 5th, Bam Adebayo. In 6th, Sabonis, Julius Randle, Gordon Hayward, and Jeremy Grant rounding that off. I'm surprised that Jeremy Grant is there. He plays in a very small market. He's not like a big flashy player, but he's having a really good year, and I think he deserves to be in the top 10 in the front court. Maybe Vucevic should be in there, but Jeremy Grant's having a great year. He really is having a great year. He's an amazing defender. Guards in the East, Bradley Beal, far and away is leading the votes there. Kyrie in 2nd, James Harden not far behind them, and then after that is Jaylen Brown, Zach LaVine, Trae Young, Colin Sexton, Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook is 9th, and Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet's in 10th. There's obviously, other than really Rudy Gobert not being in there, I don't think there's that much. It's pretty accurate. Normally when fans vote, obviously Caruso's in there, stuff like that, but you can look past that. But normally when years past when fans vote, it is just the worst thing ever. It's just god awful. But the fans are doing a really good job this year, I think. I think we really are. Proud of the NBA community. Big ups. And finally, let's talk about the topic that, fuck it. LeBron James complaining to the refs is getting out of hand. Someone has to say it. Someone has to say it. Now, I don't care if you're a big Lakers fan or someone who hates the Lakers. I don't care if you're the biggest bronzexual out there or someone who just shits on him and thinks he's like the 11th greatest player of all time. You have to admit that watching Lakers games is kind of pathetic. The Lakers' behavior is pathetic. It starts with LeBron, but it's the whole team. It's not even like it started off. I think last year, it was kind of controversial calls, and LeBron, he's always been one of those guys to get in the ref's face. What are you doing? Complaining to the refs. Sure, he's a competitive kind of guy. Everyone's done that. All the greats did that. Kobe's done that. MJ, all the greats do it. Nothing wrong with that. If you think a call didn't go your way, and you get up in the ref's face, there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone has done that. Anyone who's played any sort of sport has done that at any level. But the thing is, it gets to a point where this year, I'm watching the Lakers playing the OKC Thunder last night. This isn't even like a good team. This team is ass. They don't even have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. This team literally has no idea. They have no primary ball handler. They don't know what the fuck. I'm watching these guys in clutch time, in crunch time. They don't know what the fuck. This is a bad team. This is a terrible team. They're going down to the wire. They're going down to the wire with the LA Lakers. And every fucking play, I'm not exaggerating. I turn on the TV. The very first thing I see is a replay of LeBron James hacking some guy's arm like this, immediately turning to the refs and complaining about getting a foul call. Like, bro, you were caught in 4K hacking someone's arm. And then in overtime, LeBron James is backing up. He's moving backwards, gets bumped into, flops, and expects to get a charge. You are moving and you're not in the restricted zone. That's the fucking rule. And he's complaining to the refs constantly. He gets called for the blocking foul. He gets up in the ref's face. What the fuck? He wants a review. And while the guy's shooting free throws, he's turning around to the refs, not even paying attention, asking him about the call. Bro, does he? I don't know if he doesn't know the rules. He didn't go to college. Maybe he didn't learn the rules. Maybe he's his age, his mind. I don't get it. And it trickles down to the whole team. Yeah, watching the Lakers play, it feels like they all think they're all fucking entitled. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. But again, even the biggest LeBron fans, I mean, you have to sit there and admit, LeBron, you got to stop. It's every play. It's every play his arms go up. Every play he wants a review. Every fucking... I mean, you just watch the Lakers play. Watch the Lakers play. That'd be a very fun drinking game that, I mean, everyone would be plastered by 5 minutes into the first quarter. But every time LeBron James puts his arms up or asks for a review, you take a shot. I mean, you'd be fucked. You would not make it through. You wouldn't make it through half. There's no way. I don't care who the fuck you are. But it gets to a point where it's unwatchable. It's the second best team in the NBA. I want to see these guys. They're going to win an NBA championship this year. They're going to bullshit their way to a ring. No, they're not. They're going to win it clean. They're going to deserve the championship. LeBron's going to win Finals MVP. Everyone's going to call him the GOAT. I'm going to call him the GOAT. But I can't. It's not fun to watch. It's not fun basketball. I'm a Spurs fan. My team is known for being boring. And I think this is boring. I don't know. That's what I have to say about that. But it gets to a point where you could be the biggest LeBron fan out there. You have to just kind of sit there and admit, yo, LeBron, someone has to say it. Someone has to say it. And it's sad that it's me because everyone thinks that I hate the guy. I just don't like the way he plays. Or not even that. I just don't like certain aspects of his game. I just don't think he's the greatest of all time. I think he's going to be the greatest of all time after he wins his 5th Finals MVP this year and his 5th championship. I mean, shit, he might fuck it. I mean, he'll probably win it. I think he'll probably win MVP. I don't think he deserves it. I think he'll probably win MVP this year. Narratives might carry him through. And when it's all said and done, and 50 years from now, we're going to be looking back, LeBron James is the GOAT. But in this moment in time, it's just not fun watching him play. And he hits the clutch shots. He hits all the clutch shots. He's a very smart player. He gets the matchup he wants. It's just not fun watching him play. That's it. That's it from me. Baller Nation, Off the Dome, Season 2, Episode 15. Short episode. I'm gonna be getting some guests on in the coming weeks. But yeah, that's it. That's all I've got for you. I hope you guys did enjoy. Mike Dean, Kanye, take them to church, baby.
Let me get more volume. Louder. And my voice. Roll some, you can roll some. To know some, if we both honest, who lies? Yeah, you lie.